All right, welcome. Today we're going to draw the Automoblox Windshield in Autodesk. To begin, let's start a new part, Standard, and hit Create. All right, go to Start 2D Sketch. Let's click on the plane. Okay, and let's look at our assignment here. So our assignment shows the basic dimensions here in a profile of, or a side view of our windshield. So we're going to make this basic 2D sketch to start with. Before we begin, it's important to realize that this drawing here is made up of a series of 3 arcs. We have a straight line, and then it starts with an arc here, another arc, and then another arc. And these arcs all have radiuses. One has a radius of 6 inches, one has a radius of 0.4 inches, and the other has a radius of 6 inches. So let's go ahead and start this drawing now. Alright, so to start, let's grab our line tool here. Start our apex, drag it out to, if we look at our drawing, it was 3.04 inches long. All right, now we need to hit escape. Now we need to come into our arc tool. Okay, we want the 3-point arc. And when we make an arc, we start, you click once where you want to start. Okay, you click second, okay, where you want the arc to end. And then the third one is your radius. So you wanted a radius of 6 inches. All right, now we need to make our third arc. So once again, come over here, click on the end. Okay, click again. All right, then make our radius of 0.4. All right, and then we need our final arc. So click again, got the green dot, click here, and it had a radius of 6 inches. Okay. All right, so let's come back to our assignment now. We have to add some dimensions in. Notice from this point to this point, we have a length of 3.01 inches, and from this point to this point, we have a length of 2.55 inches. And then finally, from this point to this point, we have a height of 0.64 inches. So let's put those dimensions in now. Let's come back to our assignment, hit dimension. So let's go from here, click on that point to that point. Okay. And 2.55, enter. Let's come click on that point, and we have a length of 3.01 inches. Okay. And now, all right, we need to get this height, this dimension here for 0.64 inches. Okay. All right, so notice it doesn't have this smooth curve to it like we want. So that's okay, we can fix this. Okay, let's hit escape. Let's delete these dimensions. Okay, hit delete, hit that green dot, delete, hit that delete green dot, hit delete. Okay, to fix this now, we need to come over here to our tangent constraint curve. Okay, we need to delete those dimensions because we can't have our drawing over constrained. So let's go ahead and click on the tangent constraint button. All right, we want this line tangent to that line. And now we want this line tangent to that line. Now it has that nice smooth appearance we want, and it's not over constrained. All right, so now let's go ahead and finish our sketch. Zoom in here and center it. All right, let's come back to our assignment. Scrolling down, you can see that we need to extrude this. We need to now make a 2-dimensional object become a 3-dimensional object. Okay, and we need to extrude it 2.55 inches. All right, so let's come back over to Autodesk. All right, hit the extrude. Okay, we want it out, this button, a distance of 2.55 inches. Okay. Okay, so once again, let's come back to our assignment. You can see we need to add some fillets here, okay, and they need to be 0.5 inches. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so click on the fillet button, okay, 0.5, okay, hit there, and that line, hit there, hit apply, okay, and there you have it. Okay, starting to look more and more like our windshield here. All right, looking back at our assignment now, we need to shell our windshield. To shell something basically means you're going to make it hollow, and you're going to assign a thickness of the shell here. Right, 0.07. So you're telling it how thick you want your shell, essentially, like the thickness of an eggshell. All right, so let's come back to our Autodesk assignment here. Let's rotate it, because remember this thing is solid, so we need to essentially hollow it out. So click on that face, go to the shell button, okay, and give it a shell thickness of 0.07. Hit OK, and there you have it. Okay, now it is basically hollowed out. All right, so now that we have the main part of the windshield done, now we need to make this interior piece right here that kind of comes down through. All right, now the dimension we're interested in right now is this one, 0.67. Notice it is 0.67 inches down here in this height. All right, so to do this, we're going to have to make a plane offset. So let's turn our piece here. So we're going to have to make a plane offset from there. Okay, so we come over here to plane, work plane, offset from plane is the one we want. Okay, and we type it in 0.67 inches. And that will allow us, now this is the plane we want to start working on. Okay, so go ahead and click it and hit Start 2D Sketch. All right, so let's start drawing on this plane, but first I'm going to move that sideways here so we can look at it better. All right, and let's just draw a rectangle, kind of like the one we see underneath our windshield here. All right. All right, now we need to add some dimensions here. So if we come back to our assignment here, we need to properly center this rectangle. And notice it's 0.68 inches from here, okay? And it's this side is 2.22 inches from this side. All right, so let's go ahead and throw in some dimensions. But before we do that, we need to do something called project geometry. Project geometry, what project geometry will allow us to do, okay, if we click here, it will allow us to bring this line forward onto our drawing plane. So click there and click there. Okay, and now these lines are on our drawing plane, which is what we want, so we can add in dimensions. So let's go ahead and dimension it. Select your dimension button, click there, click there, and we want distance of 0.68 inches. All right, and then for this distance, click there, a distance of 2.22 inches. Now let's dimension, okay, this distance. Click here, click on that line. Okay, 0.29 inches. Okay, now we want this line again, and now that line, whoops, And we want that to be 2.26 inches. Okay. All right, so now let's round off our edges here with some fillets. Come over to the fillet tool. And if you look at your assignment, these had a radius of 0.15. Okay. All right, so now we need to use something called the offset button here. So let's click on your offset button, and we want to move this in just slightly. And we need to assign it a thickness. So before we assign it a thickness, okay, let's come to our assignment here. Let's look at it. So it looks like this is zoomed in here. So notice this B right here, we're looking right here, and it's 0.05 thickness. Let's come back to our assignment here. Let's dimension it. Okay, click there, and we want it to be 0.05. Okay. Coming back to our assignment with dimensions here, we need to make now these little features right here. Okay. And if you notice, they have construction lines going through them, these dashed lines. So one down the center and two going perpendicular to them. So let's go ahead and put those in. Okay, so what you're going to do is click right here where it says construction line. Okay, so go ahead and click there. Okay, click line. Okay, now here's what we need to do. We need to find this midpoint. Find that green dot right there. Come all the way across. Make sure it's straight. Hold your mouse straight and okay, go ahead. Alright, now we need to make two more that are perpendicular to it at 90 degrees. So let's just draw them about right here. Okay. Oop. Okay, one more. Okay, so coming back to our assignment here, we need to dimension these construction lines so they're properly orientated. So this one is 0.95 and this one is 1.94. So let's go ahead and dimension those. So click on the dimension button. Okay, click there and click there. And that one is, okay, 0.95, enter. And let's do the other one. And that one is 1.94. Okay. All right, so now we need to look back at our assignment here and make these little features on our window. Okay, so we have right here, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them we got to make. All right, and notice we're zoomed in here and it's got a 0.05 okay, length here, dimension, and a 0.09 dimension here that we're interested in. So let's come back to our assignment. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and center it. So let's come back to our construction line. What we're going to do is we're going to do a rectangle. Okay, 2-point center rectangle. Okay, put it right there in the center and come out. Okay, now we're going to need to do some dimensioning. So let's come over here. Remember, from here to here it was click here, it was 0.05. Okay, and then from here to here it was 0.09. Okay. All right, so zoom in a little more. Let's use our trim tool. Get rid of that, trim that, trim that, trim that, trim that, and trim that. Okay, now we have our feature we were trying to make. Okay, now we got to make the rest. So let's zoom out here, zoom in to our other side. Okay, come back to our rectangle tool, place it right there in the center. Okay, click it. Let's dimension it. 0.05. Okay, this one. 0.09. Okay, come back to our trim tool. Let's get rid of that, 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 and that. Okay, there's one more of our little features we need to make. Okay, so let's come up here. We need to make them up here as well. Let's dimension it. Use our trim tool once again. Okay, one more done. Let's head on over to our other one. Come back to our rectangle tool. Hopefully you're seeing a pattern here. You can kind of do this on your own, or you can follow me. Okay, let's go back to our dimension here. 0.05. Okay. 0.09. Okay, trim tool. Okay, that one's done. Two more to go. Okay, come back to our rectangle once again. Find that little center point there. Dimension it. 0.05. Okay. And 0.09. Okay. Come back to our trim tool. Okay, let's come do the other one here. Move on over. Here we go. Rectangle. Find our center point. Drag our rectangle out. Okay, dimension it. 0.05. Okay, and our last dimension for this part. And 0.09. Okay, trim tool. Okay, let's come back to our, looks pretty good. So we have all those little parts done. All right, and that's about it. Let's go ahead now and finish our sketch. Okay, now we need to make this a three-dimensional shape. So we're going to want to extrude it. Okay, but first let's click on our surface here. Okay. And we don't want it to go down, we want it to go to the opposite direction. Okay. And we want it to go to the next face here. All right, I believe that's what we want, so hit OK. Okay, and let's get rid of this plane. So let's click on your work plane over here and go visibility. Let's uncheck that. So there we go. Looks just like it. All right, now that we're done, let's give it a texture or material. Let's see here. There we go. Clear green. And that's it for the windshield. We'll see you in the next part.